and welcome to the 36th episode of Deliverability.TV with myself, Anthony Mitchell, Florian Vierke, and our special guest today, Yanna-Torry Aspraki. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and talking to you guys.
It's amazing that you could join. Hello, Florian. And just to give you a little intro, so how would I describe Yanna-Torry? We've only just met. A LinkedIn superstar. No, I'm joking. That probably is one of the things. But so you're a deliverability expert based in Holland currently, I believe.
Yes.
Coming from Canada, fantastic. And what sparked my interest was this particular project we'll get into after is authenticate the world. Well, let's authenticate the world.com. Is it .com? I just have to double check that. Yes. There we go. Yeah, no, it's just fantastic. Yeah, thanks for joining and welcome. So how about we kick it off a little bit about yourself. How do you got into email? Your journey into email really interests me, and that'd be how did you find yourself in email, Yanna-Torry?
So it's I can get you the medium-sized version of it. So growing up, I wanted to be one and one thing only. I wanted to be an engineer in nanotechnology, and then I wanted to solve arthritis. And that was the goal. So if you meet anybody that doesn't know what I'm doing now, that's what they think I'm doing, because I've talked about it so long. That's exactly what I was going to do. And growing up in Quebec, we have CEGEP before university, and I went into science. And I realized that the chances of me having my own laboratory, like in the movies, and just doing concoctions was just not going to happen. I'd be just, stapling papers and, asking for grants. So then I was trying to find something different. So I fell into programming. And I realized—
What languages?
Oh, very basic stuff. I was like, I can make a lot of money selling websites. So I started an agency, and we were selling websites and everything. And to ensure I could pay everybody and we could pay the bills, I got myself my first official job. And I was hired at CakeMail, which is a Canadian ESP. It is the one true love of my life. Don't tell my my partner. And I fell in love with email. I started as a customer. What was it called? Jesus, it's a very weird, one of those weird invented names, but I was doing customer support for them. And behind me was sitting the head of deliverability of CakeMail. And he was talking about things that to me didn't make sense, like, send an email, come on guys, how complicated can it be? And when I realized how great it was, that was it. Everything just flew out of the window, and that's all I wanted to do. So it was just as easy as that. And since then, for 7-8 years now, I've been focusing only on email. And because I fell in love with deliverability, that was the main focus. And that was it. It's just as easy as
that. So this guy introduced you in deliverability, and
you were
then two deliverability guys.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it was he had like a weird job. Nobody does it. No one can learn it on their own, really. Well, they can learn it on their own, but it's not something you learn if you don't know what exists, right? You can't Google it. If you don't know what deliverability is, you won't find the terminology online. And I thought I'm like, ooh, that's an interesting job, being one of the few people that can understand something. I like the political side of things, making relationships with the block list, spam house, understanding laws, arguing with people in the business. Because you can imagine, even as an email company, when Kevin Huxham, the head of magical person of deliverability, was telling them they had to make changes, even an email company had sometimes a hard time wanting to implement those changes. It might affect customers, might affect revenue. So if within an email company, we have a hard time, wanting to implement all these like strict changes, these policy changes, anything, how hard is it to implement them? How good do you have to be at politics to do this in a company that just thinks about sales and sending more emails and doing it incorrectly, So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, that's true. So you prefer the political part over the technical part, or vice versa?
I like the fact that I can understand the technical part enough to explain it to other people, and being the translator that can explain to them how it's going to help profit. Any solution will help them profit in any kind of way. It may be engagement, maybe money, maybe anything they want. Just communicating better, ensuring people receive emails. That should always be the first step of email, right? Making sure people get them in the inbox. So yeah. I do like the translation part of it.
Great.
Very good, very good. And so you mentioned that you started off in Canada for a small ESP, I believe, Canadian ESP, yeah.
Yes.
And then you moved to Cake Mail, is that correct?
Oh no, the Cake Mail is the Canadian
Excuse me,
ESP.
Cake
Sorry,
Mail
no
is
problem.
no. And so did you attend many conferences like back in the day when we could? Did you do networking there? Is there kind of a community over in Canada for email marketing and
Yeah, there are quite a few Canadian email people, and there's a lot of us there. Matthew Van Hood had done the email summits, so I had been there a couple times. Every time it happened, the email community is not only interesting in person, it's the online community, which is something very weird even now when I try to explain to other people how it works on the Slack or the Women of Email. They don't understand how competitors can divulge secrets to each other. Because in other industries, like when I was doing websites and I was trying to go, find clients and things, people are very good at giving you a business card and you're very good at giving them one business card back and nothing ever happens. But in the email world, when people need help, there's always somebody to help. And when you want to help, you can. You're not going to lose customers because you're reminding somebody else or you're letting them know that, hey, the law changed in this country. Make sure your customers are safe, make sure you're implementing the right changes. My business is not going to fail because I've reminded somebody else something, and vice versa. Or when you go to MOG, I really like going to MOG. So there's a lot of secret deliverability information being given over there. You see people working at MailChimp talking to people working at, Shopify, which should be more direct competitors. And what's the problem? We're going to help each other, make sure we have infrastructure.
That's definitely a nice thing I like about email too. And, where you can have just an open conversation with other experts and maybe the business on a business level, they're competitors somehow, or the sales team, or, trying to win each other's clients, etc. But then it's good to have like an open book and be able to talk off and on record as well. And so you're a member of the Email Geeks as well?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Yeah. I mentioned that because I saw that on your LinkedIn profile. And Florian, do you know about Email Geeks? A huge Slack channel and with thousands of members now.
Actually, I've never understood why there's an email channel on Slack. Why is it not a mailing list or something like that?
So there is a mailing list for the community, isn't there? I guess there's a few, but it's more like comments and direct messages and different I don't know, you can have like private messages, you can go off on tangents. They've got different channels for I'm selling Email Geeks, by the way, Yanna-Torry, but I don't
it's like forum. It's like a forum.
Yeah, it's a forum. Yeah, there you go.
So instead of Googling why is this not working and just hoping that you can find a Stack Overflow comment, you can go to the Email Geek Slack channel and get the answer right there.
I don't know. Probably I'm overwhelmed sometimes with too many channels. There's messengers and email and Slack, and then we have MS Teams, and then you have WhatsApp and Signal and text message, and there's so many channels that I sometimes try to limit myself a little bit to keep focused. That's probably why Slack is not my primary choice. I don't know, but I'm open for that.
I completely understand.
I'm on the mail ops list.
Yep.
That's an mailing list. I don't know, but I also have the feeling that the community has shifted a lot in the last years. While a few years back, it's really, as you mentioned, that someone has a secret how to send email to a specific ISP or to know a specific person. Now the community is much closer to each other, and you can speak much more open about things and discuss things and follow a specific goal and find a solution together. So that's great. Like the mocks or also local meetings. That's really good. So
I think the events are going to start opening up soon, right? I swear I saw something from the morgue today. I think someone's registering for the morgue on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's still online. It was supposed to
is it online? Yeah.
Yeah, it's online, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they changed it last week. I think I saw some people talking about it. But hopefully the one in October, November is going to be in person in a beautiful country.
There you go.
I still hope that we will be able to participate again.
Yeah.
For
And see
some
each other in
reason.
person.
Yeah, at the moment we are not member. We try to become member again, but at the moment we aren't. So that's the only possibility would be a guest pass. In
Yes.
Munich, I gave a session and had a guest pass.
Very nice.
Besides that, we try to become member as well, of course. Yeah.
It's very difficult. Most ESPs are not members of MOG yet. They have a lot of changes to implement and proving of themselves to do. It's very complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
what's
I know
your favorite
that,
email topic at the moment? Because I think that's changing sometimes. So what's your favorite at the moment?
At the moment, it's how engagement affects deliverability. People think that because, I don't know, they can rotate domains and I don't know, send very low volumes, they can, the Googles and the Microsofts of the world are not going to realize, but they do. They're smarter than all of us. So engagement, how that affects deliverability and not only sales, because that's just a whole cycle. If it affects deliverability, then deliverability affects sales, and then people are annoyed, and then we send more, and then just creates more a bigger and bigger problem. So I think that's the one that's the most interesting to me right now, because it's very magical.
Do you have any tips how to approach perhaps those sales clients, naming no names, like you use cold outreach emails as like a tactic? I always find that a difficult conversation, to be honest with you, because of course, we're looking at best practices. We're mainly concentrating on high volumes, but also the low volumes as well. They're counting their numbers. They're sending as many emails as possible, trying to get some kind. Of course, it damages their reputation, and so it's going to have a counterintuitive impact. But I don't know. How do you approach them kind of conversations? Do you find?
Okay, so for me, there's like 2-3 games I like to play with the customer. So the first one is reminding them what emotion they have when they go to a store, for example, and somebody asks you for an email, and you're like, oh, great. Now Best Buy is going to send me 50 emails a day. I bought a TV. How many TVs can I buy? And then when you go to work, you're like, how can I make more money this month? Let's send more emails. That we forget that we also get annoyed at the same thing. So that's the first reminder I give them. And then the second is the actual exercise. I'm like, okay, the aliens have come, have taken all the email people out. Nobody knows how spam filters work. The normal regular businesses have to create a new spam filter. What rules would you implement in order to differentiate yourself from spammers? And we do the exercise and they come up with different things like, well, if 2 people have the exact same list, they're not in the same industry, they bought a list, so they're bad senders. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Don't buy any lists, guys. Yeah, but no, you just invented the rule. You cannot buy a list now, right?
Very good.
So they come up with different rules and then they kind of realize that the rules they're coming up with are the opposite of the actions they wanted to perform. It's a very good exercise.
I'm taking notes.
I like people understanding. I think we spend less time arguing with people if they understand how it works. They're not going to steal my job because somebody still needs to execute the work. I think knowledge is power. And if everybody understood how it actually worked, we'd be all working on the same team, on the same side, instead of arguing over, let's reduce emails. And the salespeople are like, no, let's send more. And it's like, no, let's send less. And that balance is just at some point is repetitive. I don't know for you guys, but I feel like I've repeated myself a lot the last 8 years, a lot. And it's always I never get to talk about, no, not never, but I don't often get to talk about the really cool problems. Like, what do you do when somebody's pretending to be you and there's phishing? You can't stop it. You still get penalized. Then what? Those are interesting investigation and Inspector Gadget things. Reminding people not to buy lists or to not boost volume in a day or double opt-in or authenticating.
It's a bit archaic. Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, like, I see what you mean. It's like mundane. It's day to day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, reminding people is not a problem, but arguing about it is like.
Yeah, at one point.
But in the end, we're not making the rules; we're just explaining them. But that's true. I think GDPR changed a little bit the way that people understood that double opt-in might be a good idea. Before it was still a problem. but still, for some reason, we are still explaining the same rules again and again and again. And on the other side, the industry is striving for new stuff like interactive email, for example, while marketers still think about if they need to double opt-in or not. So do you think marketers are ready yet for interactive email, or is this something that nobody really needs? What's your point on that?
My opinion on that is I feel that people, in terms of if they would like to, I think they would, but I don't think they have the correct data in order to make it actually work correctly. If you have bad deliverability and you have fake opens and fake clicks from spam filters happen, you might be making a marketing strategy based on data that's not completely true. Also, if people are not receiving the emails, so your data is very, very tiny or completely wrong, then you are making decisions the wrong way. So they might be ready because it's a very cool thing, but I don't think they're ready because they might be not wasting their time, but they might be taking, it takes a lot of time, guys, right? To do all these emails and implement them. And if one interactive email takes hours and hours and hours to implement without the revisions and the back and forth between, sales design and things like that, they might be disappointed with the outcome. And then they're like, oh, well, this was a waste. And it's like, no, but no one received it, or you made decisions based on fake data, or not fake data, but not completely, clean data. Focus on the things that we repeat: authenticate your emails, have good engagement, have a good reputation. Once those things are put into place, which I believe is very simple to put into place, it might feel hard in our little sales hearts, but in reality, the execution of it is fairly simple. Then they can the interactive emails, the AMP emails will win because they will actually work, and the time that the time and budget they've invested would actually bring them back whatever they were expecting from the emails.
Absolutely. So interactive design. Let's talk about let's authenticate the world. Basically, I'm just trying to tie it all in. So I would, let's concentrate on the basics first, and then maybe we can, once you've got the strong foundations in place, then you can play around with interactive design. I get you. I'm on the same page. But on that note, so how would you? So we come across this project, Let's Authenticate the World. How did that come about, and how was it born, and what is it actually? And because I think Florian doesn't know about it, so I think this could be.
Okay.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
I'm just Googling it.
No, don't quickly tell him before he Googles. And you shouldn't use Google anyway, should you?
Let's see who's faster. Yeah, tell me. Sorry,
So
terrible.
Check out the logo. It's great, by the way. I love that. The actual idea and is better than
And thank you guys for helping sponsor it and spreading the word out. It's to me, it's very important because it ties in with actually what we were saying, that we're kind of tired of repeating the same things over and over again. So one thing I realized was I was doing meetups in Montreal. I had a really nice group. People were coming back, which for me was like, wow, people are coming back to a meetup. So I had to, get my good game on and come up with really good topics that non-email geeks can learn from. And one day, the meetup was supposed to be an hour. The meetup ended up being 2 hours. Nobody complained. They were all there listening and participating. And at the end, I was like, okay, guys, you're free to go. And nobody moved. And one guy just swivels on his chair and just looks at me. He's like, so what are you selling? Like, nothing. I'm not selling anything. I just want to educate you guys so that you guys can make more, your business can make more money, or you guys can be better at email. And then when you guys have a real email problem, you can call me and give me the money. Makes sense, right? Come back later when you're doing stuff with email and you're not sending, 10 emails a week or, small lists. And that made me think, hey, when we do all these talks and all these blog posts, we tend to share, I'm not purposely sharing it between each other, but the people who are going to be reading it are people like have the same jobs in the same industry. So I would tell people, clean your list. These are the reasons you have to do it. And then all of you guys would be like, yeah, you're so right. And it's like, no, I know I'm right. You also know this. So I realized that we had to go talk to non-email geeks about all these things. One, to help them succeed, two, to make them succeed using the right information. A lot of misconceptions out there, like exclamation points in your subject line will make your email go to spam. No, it will not, unless you have bad reputation and But the 3 exclamation points are not the reason you're going to spam, guys, or the image only emails. It's not the perfect thing. It's not the perfect thing to do, but that's not the reason. So I realized while working at CakeMail that also people did not authenticate their emails. And I've been told more than once as a customer support person, but why are you making me do this? MailChimp doesn't. And then I realized that their documentation was there, the articles about authentication was there, but the people who would read it were people like me and you or other email geeks. So it was like, what about if I just start communicating with businesses I like, that I see they're not authenticated, via Microsoft, or via MailChimp. And I would communicate with them, tell them, hey, I'm not trying to sell anything. I just want to help you fix this technical little thing. And while I was authenticating their domains with DKIM and SPF, and at some point DMARC, I would talk to them about email, and I would just bust all those misconceptions. And then those people actually ended up coming back years later. My mom was like, why are you doing this? You're wasting your time. Money, come on, you can't just give your free time all the time. Stop giving your time freely. People actually came back years later and like, our email, just became amazing. We made more money. And now we need somebody to help us monitor what's happening, help us make better decisions, and help our business grow. And they were referring their friends' businesses. And this year, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. This year, it's too many requests, and I feel very guilty that I cannot authenticate everybody's emails. So I decided to make a website out of it and try to have email geeks sign up, and then have regular businesses sign up. And then I would just connect the two and be like, there you go. You authenticate the domain and talk about email. You talk about your business. And it's great because you get to build all these relationships with businesses you never thought you could talk to maybe. There's no selling. Amazing. It's just talking about our passion.
No, it's absolutely amazing. And so how does it work then in the sense of someone's new to email, a brand's new to email, small business, for example, they're not fully authenticated. They know about the subject. They perhaps go on the website, sign up as someone that needs help. And then one of the people that are sponsoring, or yourself, if you've got time, not anymore because it's inundated, then you'd put the two together, is that right? And then the sponsor would help.
Well,
very good.
I think I'm still doing it. I just cannot do like 100 requests a week. It's a lot of talking. So I thought I could connect email geeks who know how to authenticate domains, which most of us know how to copy paste, and ask the right questions in order to make sure we're copy pasting the right thing. And while it propagates, we can just talk. And sometimes there's a couple of things that we say that people are like, what? Like not all your opens are real human opens. Some of them are spam filter opens, even if your reputation is good and perfect. And like, what do you mean? So making people aware of looking at detailed stuff, like at the time you send an email and half a millisecond later, it's already opened 5 times, probably not a human. Or looking at your bounces. If you look at your bounces and you see all of Yahoo bounced because you have low reputation, clean your list, fix the reputation. And these are things that all tools tell you. You don't need to be a deliverability specialist or a guru to realize, oops, there might be something there that I need to fix. So people kind of got interested, and people are like, it's like I'm starting a religion of email, like emailism. It's just working. People are getting excited with us, and they are being able to argue with their sales team, or the salespeople are part of the call, and we're all having a good time. And they try sometimes to like corner me with questions, and then because they misunderstand how spam filters work and then it's really interesting to see their face going like, you can see the light bulb, boop. And like, oh, wait a second, that's going to explain the dip that we had during Black Friday when we decided to email everyone and no one bought anything. It's like, yes.
There we go. Pennies dropped.
Yeah. So it's fun. For me, it's fun.
Oh, no, absolutely. I've got loads of questions. Florian, do you have any more? I'm just going to keep...
Authentication. What do you think is the biggest struggle for clients to authenticate? What's the problem still in 2021?
I think they don't understand what it does and why it's there. And the other side of the coin is it seems very IT. But I know a lot of people who have no idea what they're doing. They were still able to connect their WordPress website to their GoDaddy account. So if you can do that, you can also authenticate your domain. It just looks very, very complicated. And you're like, what is this? And how do I check it? And MX Toolbox scares me. And I don't have the money for tools like 250. Okay, now what? I think that's the thing. And we talk about it a lot, but between ourselves, like my LinkedIn is, the algorithm shows it to you guys. And I've been trying to explain it very simply, one protects your identity, one, but if people don't know about it, they won't do it. And the tools out there are not like, for example, if you sign up to any ESP out there and you're using a Gmail or a Yahoo address, it will put that as a sender email and will confirm it for you. And if you don't have a domain because you don't understand why you need a domain, because you don't know about reputation authentication, you will start sending from there. How difficult would it be for ESPs to just put a message letting like, hey, by the way, click here to read this article, instead of there is an article somewhere in the knowledge base and nobody knows about, and they're not looking for it because they don't know it exists. I think that's the main thing. People don't know it exists, and then they argue with you because they think email is easy. Everybody sends emails.
No, you're right. You're right there. Like, for example, like MailChimp or whatever, they want you to send emails as quickly as possible. It could be loads of ESPs, just naming that name. But then, yeah, it's like a couple of clicks away, they're fully authenticated, and it's like, okay, that's really not a lot of hassle or work.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I know the help articles are really useful. I suppose it could be good to help someone execute that, if that's not their day-to-day job. I totally get it.
If there was a pop-up that told me, as a business who knows nothing about email, by the way, if you send Gmail, or like if you're using Yahoo, which now has a DMARC reject, you will have deliverability issues for people who care about it. Which means just people might not get your email, would probably get enough interest of like, excuse me, what? I am paying for you to send the emails and people to receive them. What are you talking about? And then they would click and read the article and be like, ching. And if they don't understand, they can always contact the support team, because the support team will answer the question. But if you don't prompt them or scare them or at least spark some interest, they will not check. They assume you understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Just put something like, you will deliver to spam if you're not authenticated, something like that. And then maybe you'll get someone's attention. Yeah. Very good. I really like the project, and I wish you good luck with it. And it's not just you. I think sponsors on board, and then I think more people get involved, and the more people talk about this, then we're going to break down some walls and educate, which is fantastic.
And you supported somehow, Anthony.
Yeah, you guys did.
Yeah. So
how? What should we do?
So, well, Deliverability.TV can as well. So we can also publish this episode, label it "Let's Authenticate the World" or something. We can. Florian, you can take time out of your day and help.
But I have another question. You're grown up in Canada, and now you live in Netherlands. First of all, why? Secondly, what's your connection to Greece and Spain?
Greece and Spain. Okay, so I'm assuming
that
has to do with the languages I talk. Yeah. So I don't think I'm a prodigy, but I was born in the French part of Canada. So I spoke French and English, no choice. That's what the schools teach you. You have to learn it. If you don't, you have to be really good at not learning a language when you're forced to do it for 16 years, And in Montreal, we're very lucky. There's a lot of different ethnicities, and every one of us there's an Armenian school, a Greek school, there's all the schools. So I was very lucky. I got to go to primary school in Greek, French and English, and high school and lyceum. So I was able to get all my, the proficiency of Greece in English and French. And in high school, I went to a high school that had 5 years of Spanish, and Spanish was just as important as like math or science. If you failed Spanish, you could fail your whole year. It was very scary. So I learned Spanish because I didn't have a choice. I always love, in my house, we do love languages, but when you don't have a choice and you're doing it 2-3 times a week, at some point you catch on, right? My parents are Greek. They immigrated to Canada from Greece. So I was very lucky to get a Greek passport. Greece is handing them out fairly easily. Italians as well, if I'm not mistaken. If you have a grandparent or at least one parent, you can apply for a passport. So I was very lucky. I applied for it a couple of years ago, not even. And things are slow between Canada and Greece. And this year I left Cake Mail. It was a very hard decision. Last February, March, I left Cake Mail, which is very hard for me, just to focus on my own clients and being in another role, being on the brand side instead of the ESP side. And I don't know, it worked fairly well. And I was poached by a company in the Netherlands that had a lot of deliverability problems based on misconceptions. Actually, they weren't trying to do anything bad, but you have a sales team, the company grew very big, things blew up, and then they got cut. Right, bad habits got caught, or because they were making decisions based on statistics they had access to. So I came in, and it was very interesting. The company has over 2,000 domains that they take care of, and it was very, very exciting to fix all the issues, or it's not really issues, just fix and implement best practices correctly and educating everybody. And now I've got a whole army of little email people that that understand email better and can make better sales. Actually, it's very exciting for me. And the other factor that's very interesting is deliverability in Europe. Not that it's not the same, but it's not the same as when you're in America. You don't have to deal with the same inboxes, right? In Canada, if you had one guy that was using an Italian or Greek domain name and it wasn't inboxing, you're like, not worth it. Out of 10 million people, I'll focus on the Microsoft and the Gmail. But here, holy moly, you really have to fix everything. You have to talk to the French ESPs, the Italian ones, the German ones. And you cannot just say this is a 1% of my list or 0.01%. This is like 5% chunks. You don't want to get rid of 5%. So it's interesting to be able to deal with them more, or having the permission to deal with them because it's worth it to do it. So that's very interesting. So meeting new people, new postmasters and new abuse teams, that's very exciting for me.
Amazing, amazing. And you mentioned, so you have an army of helpers, but you also touched upon it earlier. Are you going to create your own email religion? Or an email religion?
Yeah, emailism. It's just
emailism, excuse me.
Yeah, emailism. No, we're all equal at this point. The way it's going, because people at work all are also interested in understanding email, even if they're not doing anything that's related closely to email. People are spreading the word. Actually, it's slowly starting to feel like a sect. Forcing anybody to do anything, but I have people send me links, they're like, did you hear that Spark Post got bought and taxi for email? And I'm like, yes, they told me personally. And then like, it's so cool. There's a lot of things happening in the email world right now, which should probably tell people email is there to grow. Actually, and not what people expect, because it's getting complicated with the laws. So it's interesting to see people sending me links. Did you see this? Did you hear that? Did you know that Yahoo's DMARC is not a reject? Yes, I've heard it. But it's nice to see how people are excited, because it means that they're changing the way they're thinking when they're making decisions with their part of whatever, I take care of the email part. Whatever they take care of, I can see the email is going the email thought leadership thing is going through, and I don't have as many problems to deal with, actually, which is a good thing.
I must say one thing. I'm really jealous. I just found you're selling own pillows in your shop.
Yes, I have a lot
Harry
of things
Potter and spam.
Yes, I'm a big Harry Potter.
That's great. Why don't I have such a pillow?
Oh,
well,
sure.
you can get one.
I'll just send you guys some.
Have you seen that, Anthony? There's Harry Potter on it, and all the emails are flying in, and it's about nobody's like spam, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, except him, right? He was happy he got that letter, but no one else is happy with too many emails.
No, that's great. That's really cool.
Very good.
You can have everything. Towel.
Lauren, we're going to have to get something for Deliverability.TV, yeah, and we're going to wear it on a TV show, yeah, or a TV show on an episode.
Yeah, let me know. Send me your addresses. I'll just send you guys some over, stickers and cups and the whole shebang.
There you go.
Yeah, we
turn
go.
that offer down. Fantastic. Thank you.
We have some stickers in exchange.
Perfect. I love those. We're all collectors. That's one thing the email geeks have in common. We like swag. We love swag, anything. And sometimes people come up with some really cool things to give, like slingies or like really big. I went to really good emails last year, and they had like really huge like beer bottle openers. Like if anybody entered my house, I could just like frisbee it and like murder somebody with it. It was really heavy. We come up with a bunch of things. Some of them are cooler than others, but we all love t-shirts. Oh, I have so many t-shirts. Holy moly.
That's true.
Okay, fantastic. A lot of interesting topics covered so far. Did anyone else have a topic they would like to talk about? I'm definitely passing the buck there.
What is your favorite newsletter that nobody knows about? It can't be Chubby's or not a newsletter. It has to be an unknown one.
Oh, yeah. Email newsletter, yeah. I'll tell you what, I've actually got not a favorite newsletter, but I've got something that I've started to do lately as a customer. And I was a customer of Moss Bros, and it was a suit fitting place, yeah. And basically I went there, but what I did is I signed up for their newsletter after buying a suit. Now, my tip for everyone, before you go anywhere, if you buy an appliance or anything, even if you're in store, you could do it on social media or something, sign up for their newsletter on maybe your dummy mailbox or mailbox you're not using, because if I would have waited and signed up for their newsletter, I would have got 10% discount off that suit. So now this is my way of saying, sign up for someone's newsletter, even if you're in store and you're just about to purchase something. I haven't got a favorite one. They all technically could be my favorite if they're saving me 10%.
And that's exactly the reason why I always tell my clients it's not a good idea to give a 10% voucher for your newsletter subscription, because that means you only collect bullshit addresses.
No, that's not. It's not bullshit. It's not bullshit address. It's in fact,
you said use a fake address.
No, I didn't say fake address. Use a dummy address. But do you know what? I actually used my own personal email address. Now, this could be a topic about how we manage our own personal mailboxes. Mine's a mess. I don't really unsubscribe from it. There you go. I think all of us.
But you know what? I was reading Radek from Use Bouncer, his European, a day in the daily life of a European person in email. Okay, I just killed. Please don't kill me. Anyways, he wrote a blog post about what his day is like, and one of the things he uses is called Superhuman. And I was like, bullshit. I've used so many of these. It acts really good. Inbox zero. I have never inbox zero before. At least not anytime recently, and it does help. Try it out. $30 a month, and you can put as many email addresses as you want. It is very smart and very easy. Called Superhuman. The onboarding to me was annoying because you had to connect with somebody, but then for them to activate the account. But it was a good thing they did it, because it ensured that I would use the tool. I've used a lot of tools, and then I don't know the shortcuts and whatever, and I'm like, whatever. I'm not. But this one, they kind of made you go through it. And they make you go to inbox zero through the first call where they activate your account. Very good onboarding, very good way to do things. Email people, ESP should have onboarding like that. Let people know, authenticate your email. Do it in front of me, buy a domain, all those things.
I also do the zero inbox approach, but I'm running my own mail server since November, probably.
Ooh, very cool. How have you had any issues lately, or have you done silly things that were very obvious?
I had a lot of issues with. Setting up a mail server is not that easy. I thought it is, but the initial point was that our former provider didn't offer DKIM, and I said we must have DKIM with Deliverability.TV. We must be able to sign DKIM, and they said, it's so complicated. And I said, no, it's not. Try it. And they said, okay, let's see. And after a couple of months, I said, is there any update on that? And they said, not really. And then I said, okay, now I need to run my own mail server. And I started doing that and starting to implement all the stuff that we are telling the guys all of the time. And it's ridiculously complicated. And even the receiver side is much more complicated.
If you had to say one thing, Florian, that was the most complicated thing setting up your mail server, because I'd love to do a separate thing on this, what would it be? Could you pinpoint it? And Yanna-Torry, you sound like you might have
everything. Yeah, everything, because it's
everything.
No, everything.
Don't do email.
No. Do it.
And then we end the episode.
Yeah, there we go. It's just. There you go. We've been putting it on the pedestal, and now we just wipe the legs.
No, but when you start, you're learning so many new things, and when you have discovered one new thing and fix it, in the meantime you have discovered 5 new problems, and then you must take care about I don't know, the whole server security stuff with logins and ports and firewalls and IP stripping and the mail server itself, then how to collect mails within software, install a spam filter, RSpamD, something like that.
So are you going to do a how-to on all this?
Is that the plan?
Are you going to create a how-to create your own? No,
he's like,
just nothing.
Nope.
You've unsubscribed.
Let somebody else do that.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I have a book. And I write everything in that book, everything that I learn and need later probably. So maybe one day I publish it as a blog series or something like that.
That sounds great.
Possible.
And Yanna-Torry, have you yourself set up a mail server before, or?
I've managed to list myself actually because of my human behavior was so weird that they were like, "What is this?" No, and that was not fun. I was like, "What?" But I'm a human, and you guys know me. Just yeah, no, I'm never doing that again. And it's difficult, and managing it is a full-time job. So unfortunately give my data for free to all these Microsoft and G Suites and whoever else.
We could offer you an email address probably. Yanna-Torry at Deliverability.TV is free.
You know what my favorite email is, and that's due to CakeMail, yt@cakemail.com, or it was yt@cakemail.com. Now it's probably a spam trap. Don't send emails to that. It doesn't exist anymore. But my favorite emails is YT because they're two letters that people can hear on the telephone. Yeah. And you try to explain to somebody Yanna-Torry. Y-A-N, oh my God.
Florian, can you
Deliverability.TV.
Yeah.
There you guys have a hard time saying Deliverability.TV.
Of course.
Of course.
Probably we should
.t. Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Fantastic. Okay.
We also have inboxes.com, right? So we have inboxplacement.com. That's it. So that we have options that are easier to pronounce.
Which is waiting for your how-to series there, Florian, in inboxplacement.com. Yeah.
Yep. We have it recorded. Now you have to do it.
No worries.
Very good. We'll hold you to it. And before we kind of wrap up the episode, is there anything else, anyone, any topics or things we wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I have a question. In fact, it's my favorite question. What do you like and hate most about email?
There you go.
The thing I love the most about email is how it keeps me on my toes. Yesterday I was arguing one argument, and today my argument doesn't hold anymore because somebody made a change in the world. So I do like the fact that I'm constantly learning and things are constantly changing. It makes my repetitions less redundant, at least to me. And the thing I hate most about email, it's the fact that people think they can do it so easily, and then spending my time explaining the basics, like I don't know, that's the most annoying things, because I would like to work on the really cool things, and a lot of people just need to start from the beginning, which is fine, but they would like complex problems. So I think that's the thing I hate the most about email, people not knowing about it. So that's my goal, letting everybody know that it exists so that we can all, as email geeks, work on very cool projects instead.
Amen to emailism.
Should buy actually check if the domain was there, because that would be a fun gag. But
you buy. I'm not going to take that away from you. This won't air.
No, somebody has it already, and it's just
really?
Like
can you get like a different top level domain because they might not even be using it. It's just an idea.
Like emailism dot like what, God or something? Like
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
that one. I will definitely sign up. Okay.
And that's how it's born. And that is how it's born. Just like that.
Does that exist? If it does, I will buy it just for you guys.
Please do. I mean, if it's extraordinary amounts of money, then we'll chip in, but you be the owner of that.
Wait. Let's Google it right now.
Let's Google
I don't even know
if
.god exists.
It probably does.
That is very like that makes the email community seem a little bit like I don't know. Oh, I didn't even write emailism correctly. Emailism. Yeah, I don't think .god exists, or at least not on GoDaddy. That's the first thing. I will have to come up with something more clever.
There you go.
.yt.
.yt. Yeah.
No. I cannot be the leader of the sect.
There is no leader. We're all a part of the email protocol or something. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah. Open source and free to use.
Yeah. Well, which is a good thing. Now I'm continuing the webinar, the video here, but that's the one thing I really like about emailism. Actually, maybe I like that more than the fact that it's interesting every day. You always hear about how certain industries are looked upon as, better, if you're a doctor, you're better than a painter, and so on and so forth. But in email, I haven't seen that happen as much. Somebody that specializes in email design or email content or email IT, they're all looked upon equally as important. Because yes, I can deliver
Absolutely.
an email, but if the content is not catered or the template is not done correctly, you're like, oh, what do you program? HTML? It's like, no. Email HTML. Good luck, buddy. Come back to us when you can do, AMP, or you can do just a regular email that works in Microsoft 1978, right? So the one thing I really like about email, actually more than it being super interesting and changing all the time, is the fact that everybody's voice is just as strong within the community or within a business or within an email team. I think that's extraordinary. The designers are just as powerful as the engineers and the IT and the DevOps and so on. I think it's cool.
Absolutely.
Because it is true. That's how it works.
And you know what? I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very, very interesting and covered a lot of topics there. And we will support the Let's Authenticate the World.com as well as, the religion.
I will come up with a website, I promise.
Hello and welcome to the 36th episode of Deliverability. Deliverability? Oh my God.
We keep that one in.
We'll keep that in if you want that, Captain, but that's embarrassing. Let's start this again. Okay.
You say deliverability, I say
I've
tea,
actually got myself a cup of
Yanna
tea.
says V.
Yeah. Right.